Classic car culture used to be about freedom. It was the thrill of the open road, the feel of the wheel, the raw power of an engine that had roared for decades. It had character. It had soul. But now? It's lost its way, turned into a game of status and money, where cars are treated more like collectibles than machines meant to be driven. Somewhere along the line, the heart of it all, the love for the road and the joy of driving, got buried under layers of vanity and elitism. Let's start with the obsession over keeping these cars in mint condition. It's honestly out of control. Classic cars were meant to be driven, to feel the wind, to stretch out on the highway, not sealed up in climate-controlled garages like museum pieces. But now, it's all about having the lowest mileage, the most original parts, the factory paint job untouched by time. People act like these cars lose their soul the minute you replace a part or put a few miles on them. That's absurd. The whole point of owning a classic car is to drive it, to experience the engineering of a different era. But now, too many owners are afraid to even take them out of the driveway, worried that a few miles might shave off a few $1,000s in value. What happened to just getting behind the wheel and driving for the love of it? And it's not just about preservation, it's about snobbery. You see it at every car meet or show. If your car isn't original enough, or if you dared to modify it to suit your own tastes, you'll get those judgmental looks from the so-called purists. They'll size up your ride, criticize your choices, and make you feel like you don't belong. And God forbid you're new to the scene. If you haven't memorized every detail about the make, model, or engine specs, they'll act like you don't deserve to be there. The elitism is suffocating. This hobby should be about community, about bringing together people who love cars. But instead, it's turned into this exclusive club where only the ones with the deepest pockets or most detailed knowledge are allowed to feel like they belong. And let's be honest, that's driving people away. Speaking of pushing people away, the prices at these auctions have gotten out of control. What used to be attainable dreams are now multi-million-dollar investments, locked away in private collections, never to see the light of day. It's heartbreaking. These cars used to be for the people, working-class enthusiasts who scraped together just enough to buy their dream ride and spend weekends tinkering in the garage. But now, they're status symbols for the ultra-rich, more likely to sit in a polished showroom than roar down a back road. When did owning a classic car become about flaunting wealth instead of embracing the visceral experience of driving a machine built before the era of computers and driver assist systems? It's also time we take off the rose-colored glasses and get real about what classic cars are. They're beautiful, no doubt. They have style and personality that most modern cars can't touch. But they're also relics of a time when safety and efficiency weren't even close to what they are today. Let's not pretend that everything was perfect. Drum brakes were terrifyingly inadequate, steering was often vague at best, and let's not even get started on emissions. Sure, modern cars don't have that same timeless design, but they are engineering masterpieces. They're faster, safer, and far more reliable. We can appreciate the classics while also recognizing that today's cars are a huge step forward in almost every way. Nostalgia has its place, but we can't let it blind us to progress. And speaking of progress, we can't keep ignoring the environmental impact of classic cars. Look, I get it. These machines are a part of history, and I love them as much as anyone. But we have to admit that they're gas guzzlers. With the climate crisis looming over us, the classic car scene needs to have a serious conversation about how we move forward responsibly. Maybe that means finding ways to make these cars cleaner or offsetting their emissions in some way. Maybe it's embracing electric conversions or hybrid technologies while preserving the spirit of the car. But we can't just keep pretending like it's not an issue. If we want this hobby to survive into the future, we have to adapt. The scene also has a serious diversity problem. Go to almost any car meet, and it's the same story, mostly older white men. That's fine, they've been part of the scene forever, but it's keeping things stagnant. Where are the women? The younger folks? The people of color who love cars just as much as anyone else? Too often, they don't feel welcome, either because of the snobbery or because the scene feels like an old boys' club. And that's a shame. Diversity brings new perspectives, new ideas, and new energy. Without it, classic car culture is going to shrink and eventually die out. We need to open the doors and actively welcome people from all walks of life if we want this thing to last. In the end, classic car culture needs to get back to its roots. It's not about perfect preservation, not about money, not about knowing every spec sheet by heart. It's about the pure joy of driving, the camaraderie of fellow enthusiasts, and the love of beautiful machines. We need to strip away the elitism, the dollar signs, and the resistance to change. Only then can classic car culture regain the soul it's lost along the way.